Hey guys, and welcome to Dan-gler's Sea Fishing. Tonight, I was meant to be fishing Yarmouth Pier. As you can see, I'm not at Yarmouth Pier. It was way too good conditions tonight, and the pier was absolutely packed. So we've come to our backup venue. Where is our backup venue? We're in Wootton. Now let's get fishing. Daddy's going fishing.
Pick up the rod and tie your line. Danglers here, it's fishing time. Cast it out and feel the breeze. Watch the water dance with ease. Hook, line, sinker, hear that cheer. Danglers catching fish right here. Reel it in, don't let it go. Every catch is quite a show.
So guys, as I said, originally I was planning on doing part 2 of my no bait challenge, but that was ruined by the fact that it is a beautiful evening with very little amount of wind and no rain on the forecast. So the pier was packed. Anyway, so we've come down Woodside Beach. I've managed to grab a bit of bait last minute, grab a bit of my shore stuff and get down here. So as you can see, it's pitch black already. So the tide is quite a long way out. So we are out on the shingle at the moment and we're going to be chasing the tide back in as we come back in. I'm going to be looking for predominantly either a smooth hound or a bass. That is the majority of the things that I could target down here in these sort of tides. But we might see a bream and we'll probably see maybe some strap congers or something later on as well. But any fish is better than no fish, so we'll take that. So my setup is I'm going to be using pulley pennels on both of them, and I'm going to be using semi-big baits, nothing too big, because down here it does tend to throw up some good fish, but with it being sort of quite shallow and quite bright moons, it could be a little bit hard work. So we're going to try and keep those bait sizes a little bit smaller, but see if we can find ourselves something on those. So my setup tonight is I am using my Tronix C6 low diameters, and I've got them paired up with my Fathom 2s with 25 pound ASSO ultra cast line and a 70 pound shock leader. So because I was gonna do my no bait challenge, all my baits are absolutely solidly frozen. So we'll have to leave some baiting up until later. So I've managed to get one out so far. Just gonna pop another one out. On the one that's out, I've got crab and squid. And then I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna swap one of the 2 hook pulley pennels and I'm actually gonna pop on a size 2 2 hook clip down. See if maybe we can find a bit of a bream on maybe a squid or something, because that will work better while it's still frozen. So if you are ever fishing a spit like we are, always keep an eye on your surroundings, always keep checking back. Make sure you do it regularly because it will fly in when it starts coming in. We're on quite big tides tonight, hence why we're out on the spit. But once this starts moving in, it will move in fast. I know this venue very well, so it's a venue that I am comfortable coming out onto this area. If it's ever an area that you're unfamiliar with, make sure you view it in daylight so that you can understand exactly how that tide moves, because it can be very dangerous. Well, I am up on the beach now. So the little area we were fishing in, it was just starting to flood in behind, so we've had to make a bit of a run back to the beach for a bit of safety. But on the way, what I have managed to get is I have managed to find some live prawns. Not very big, but they will come in very handy, because as this tide floods, you do get quite a few bass come in. Now what I can do is I can pop them on my size 6 chinoos, just nipped in on the tail, just so they can still flick around, pop them on the float. You never know, we might get a bass on those. The other thing I did find while I was trying to find the shrimp was I did actually find a soft crab as well. So that is another bit of fresh bait that we've got ready to go. So we're in. I've got the live shrimp on the left down one. Just got them on the size 6 chinoos. They're not very big, so I might just supplement them with something later. But I'm just going to try them on a little float with tiny little hooks, see if we can hook up anything. So with this session tonight, I am expecting it to be fairly quiet to start off with. and then get busier as the night goes on. This is a bit of a top of the tide venue, and top of the tide is not until 1 o'clock-ish tonight. So we could be waiting a little while before it starts to pick up, but I am expecting probably around maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock. That might be where we start to see some fish. But I'm going to put some baits out. I'm just going to change over now. I am going to use a sand eel bait. I'm going to use it's a launce about, I don't know, 3 inches long, and I'm going to use that just on the 2.0 pulley pennel. I'm just going to pop it out the distance, but I can't leave that one too long because it is going to get crabbed out down there. Well guys, as to be expected, it has been pretty quiet. Neither me or Neil have had a bite since we've come back to the beach. When we were out on the spit, Neil did manage to find a dogfish, but he managed to find that before I could even get a bait in the water. So yeah, it's one of them venues that when it is at this shallow part of the tide, apart from maybe a few school bass, it is quite hard to find bites, but I don't really have any worm, and that is normally what tends to produce them at this top point of the tide. But we do have some stuff that I'm going to save until it's a little bit deeper. But I have I've changed the size 6 canoe with the pop-ups over now. I don't really want to be using hooks that small, so I have moved up to size 2 2-hook clip down, and I've got that with crab legs on at the moment. And then on my other one, I am using spider peeler and squid. So just to show you, these are the shrimp that I've been finding earlier. I'm just going to pop one of them on one of my 1.0 size 2 2-hook clip downs, and add that with a pick him up. As you can see, he's quite lively, but I'm just going to hook him in through the tail and just add him as a little bit of extra attention. So yeah, so I've just popped on those 2 little shrimp with some crab legs, and hopefully that little bit of movement of the shrimp might just find us a fish. Don't really care what, anything at the moment will do. I'm a little bit out of sorts. Normally I have a really solid plan, and I had made a really solid plan for tonight, but unfortunately not for this venue and not for fishing from the shore, because I was planning on my no bait fishing video from a pier, but that will have to wait. Fingers crossed next time that I plan it, the weather will be crap. Well guys, what are we likely to find when we put shrimp and crab out? Is a smooth hound. But what's this size what I was aiming for? Yeah, I don't care. I'm just quite happy to catch a fish tonight. But absolutely beautiful, these fish. Doesn't matter what size they are, I love them either way. Anyway, let's get this little guy back and see if we can find any more. But he liked the live shrimp, that's for sure. Hey, well, that was a start at least, and it wasn't an eel. So after my last video, I'm very happy about that. Well, whatever that was, it slacklined me for sure. Well, smooth hound baby number 2, but this one caught me completely off guard on a large crab bait and slacklined it. But then when I started reeling in and caught up with it, there was it didn't feel like there was a lot on there. Turns out that was because it was tiny. Anyway, another fish. Let's get this back. But the fishing may be starting to kick off a little bit now. We're getting a little bit higher in the tide. Hopefully some bigger ones. That was a nice little bite I missed there. I don't know how I didn't hook up with it, but I do only have tiny little strips of squid on there. But what's weird is they weren't destroyed. And it did feel like there was a fish on there at first, but I think I lost it on the way in. So just a note about speed of winding. So if you notice tonight, a lot of the time when I go to chase a fish on, I'm winding quite quick. Reason for that is because there is quite a lot of bass down here. With a bass, if you don't catch up with it and keep the tension on it, what happens is their skin at the side of their mouths is quite easily torn. And what will happen is it will tear a hole big enough that it will throw the hook quite easily if the line goes slack. So when you do have bass, it is worth sort of winding down quick to at least keep that tension. I do have quite a light drag on. So when I catch up, if that fish does start to swim the other way, it's not going to just pull it out of its mouth. I've got enough there that it can take line quite easily, even if I'm winding in. So if you do see me winding fast, it's because of that reason. It's because I want to keep up with the tension of the fish. So I'm just going to bait up a launce. So I've cut the launce in half, split it in two, cut the head off, cut the tail off, and then I've just popped a thin piece of squid up the back of the bait. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip all of that up, and then I'm going to pop my hooks down the squid side there. Reason I've got the squid on there is just to keep a bit of extra solidity into it so that it doesn't sort of fall apart and doesn't get destroyed by crabs too quick. The reason I'm putting the fishy bait out there is hopefully to find a bass, but you never know, we might be able to find a dogfish or something else along these sort of lines on that, but we'll give it a go. We'll see what it is. Normally I wouldn't bring sand eels down to a venue like this, mainly because there's so many crabs down here that they get crabbed out. But I've brought them down because I'm just using up some bait in the freezer. I'm just trying to get rid of all these half packs I've got in there at the moment because I've got tons. And that's how I'm going to whip up like that. And then I'm just going to pop my baits, my hooks down into that squid on that side. And then that should be ready to go. That's a better bite. I don't know what it is that is having a go at these. It's not ripping baits apart, it's not twisting them up, but they are being hit every now and then. And I can't seem to hook them up either. But that was a better little bite just then, so Maybe it will come back, I don't know. I wondered if it was just crabs, but like that was a definite pull. I'm gonna sit down and have a coffee until it bends right over. Well, probably the biggest one of the night. Again, still not very big, but another smooth hound. Again, falling for squid this time. Squid with a little bit of the fresh shrimp. They do seem to like the shrimp down here. As I said, this guy's not very big, but you know, he's still nice to catch one. Anyway, let's get this guy back and see if we can get one more before we go home tonight. So the baits with the live shrimp seems to have done fairly well tonight. All I've been doing is I've been putting like maybe a strip of squid or a bit of crab and then just tipping it off just by tail hooking them just on the end of those little size 2 hooks. And it does seem to have brought quite a bit of attention tonight. Again, it's that whole sort of matching the hatch. It's what there is a lot down here, so it's probably what a lot of them are feeding off. Well guys, I am gonna call that it for tonight. It's not really been the best of videos tonight, and I am sorry. I have had a pretty heavy day at work, and that move venue has made life a little bit difficult. I had to go back, change all of the gear I had set up so that I could have some beach stuff, find some bait, and then grab a venue that was fairly close to home so that I could quickly get out and actually do some fishing tonight. So it has been a bit of a pain, but we have managed to come out, we have managed to find a few fish, and we've had a nice evening. Anyway, if you are enjoying my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And to all those people who have subscribed already, thank you very much. And until the next video, I'll see you then.
It's all packed up, the lines are in, the tide has turned, the day's grown thin. So hit that sub, you won't wanna miss, 'cause Dan-gler will be back again to catch more fish.